as soon as they kind of announced it, everything we heard going into draft weekend, we heard we need safety depth, we need safety depth, we need safety depth. And we went through the draft and we did not take a safety. We picked up some undrafted free agents, and you're wondering, hey, is one of these guys going to be our depth piece, our rotation piece? I love this. This is huge. The guy is an NFL veteran. This is going to be his 12th year in the NFL. He's reunited with Schwartz. They won a Super Bowl together in Philly. And strong safety, free safety. My biggest thing with this is you bring in a guy that's a leader in the locker room, accountability. You have a young secondary. And this is a guy that you bring in. I'm not saying this will be the alpha. This is going to be like a guy that leads the locker room. This is a leader. This is a guy that has been in a lot of locker rooms and knows how to play the game. Schwartz, some of the things that I just read a little quote on it, but Schwartz said, hey, this is a guy that plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He's tough, not the biggest guy, but will do anything to make a play. And he's like, I stand by this guy all day. And Schwartz has been around for a long time. I think it's going to change the attitude of our defense, our locker room. I like this a lot.
Me too. I think this is an absolutely phenomenal pickup for the Browns. As soon as I saw this come through, I was so pumped. So I just dove into Rodney McLeod. I wanted to learn more about him. I did not realize that in 2012, he came out of college as an undrafted free agent. So he was not drafted. He signed on with the Rams, played all 4 seasons with the Rams.
Crazy.
Then he went to Philly, like you said, 6 seasons with Philadelphia, and then he spent last year in Indianapolis with the Colts. So if you think about that, 6 seasons with the Eagles. Guys don't stick around NFL franchises for 6 years, typically. A lot of guys don't even have a 6-year career, so that's it's pretty impressive. He's played pretty much full seasons with just a handful of games that he's missed here and there throughout. 2018, he tore his MCL, so he only played 3 games that year. But other than that, this guy has been available. 156 career games. That's actually more than there's only 11 people in the 2020 or 2012 draft who's played more games than him. This undrafted free agent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 688 career tackles, 18 career picks. And then I was looking last year in 2012 with the Colts, with among safeties that had 500 or more snaps. He was ranked 6th overall by PFF. He had an 80.1 grade. Run defense was 66.8. Coverage was 85.3. Played all 17 games, 1,034 snaps, 67 tackles, we had 7 missed tackles, which that's not too bad on that many snaps. 2 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, just 2 penalties committed in all 17 of those games. 51% of his snaps in the box, 28 at free safety, and 17% in the slot. Rodney McLeod.
Yep. This is a guy, too, that people were saying, hey, he could be a starter on another team.
Correct.
And we're bringing him in as a guy to back up Thornhill and Grant Delpit. I love it. It's, to me, just such I think this is Schwartz putting his fingerprints on what he wants to do. With his defenses, you always hear about strong middle defense. There's always that big defensive tackle, that can tear up, cause disruption. But man, I love it. I absolutely love this as far as you're bringing in a guy, and this is a guy that he can depend on. If we have any injuries, this is a guy that can step in, start, no problem, can play either safety position. I love it. I absolutely love this.
Maybe I'm selfish, but I was hoping we wouldn't sign any more safeties because I wanted to see D'Anthony Bell play on defense a lot this year.
Well, I still think he's okay.
Yeah, I think
he's fine. I think he makes the roster.
But I don't think he's going to make the roster for sure. I was just hoping to see him get some defensive snaps.
Yeah.
But no, if it's good for the Browns, I'm pumped.
I know this is a little off topic. Did you guys see what Anthony Walker said about Schwartz?
No.
He basically, I just caught a little snippet of it, but he was just talking about how you have a coach that's holding people accountable. And I thought that was just so glaring after last year. Like, one of your supposed leaders on defense last year is saying, there's accountability in the locker room already. And you make mistakes. picks are going to be held accountable. No, you're good, buddy.
I think the pickup of Jim Schwartz is the biggest pickup of the offseason for the Browns. Bigger than any player that would be brought in free agency. That to me is, if we had Jim Schwartz on last year's roster, the Browns are probably in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
So to me, that was the biggest offseason get. To get Jim Schwartz and then still revamp the team roster-wise, I think you have to say the roster on paper this year, it is night and day better than the roster on paper last year. I mean, the only argument people would make is linebacker is still weak. Every other position is better. So to me, the roster is night and day better this year. So to get Schwartz and a premier roster, I'm not trying to declare us paper champs and stuff, but man, I just feel like expectations for the Browns should be high this year. And if it's not, then if we don't do well, I'm going to be extremely sad.
But me too, buddy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.